Hi Gemini, welcome back to my channel. This is Monica Love, and today I am continuing with the series on Ask a Question, Get an Answer. Now, I just want to briefly go over some of the energies that have been going on this past couple of weeks, and as you know, if you're not aware, it still is Mercury retrograde in the sign of Libra. So we're still going through a lot of miscommunication. A lot of things are being revealed to us, and I figured doing Ask a Question, Get an Answer would be ideal, especially for those of you that may have unanswered questions about a certain situation that you may be in, because Mercury retrograde is all about a time that opens our eyes up to what's really going on. What are some of the things that we need to learn from, especially as a Gemini, because Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. Okay, so what I've done here is I'm using 3 decks, and what I've done is I pre-shuffled the cards off camera just to save time. So the way it works is you're going to ask a question out to the ethers. It could be any question, and you could be a sun, moon, or rising Gemini, or you could have Gemini in your chart. Maybe you have a specific question that you want to ask. And what you're going to do is you're going to put the question out into the ethers, and then I will answer the question. So there are 2 decks. There's deck number 1. So this is deck number 1. And then I have deck number 2. Okay. So depending on which deck resonates with you, if you pick deck number 1, then I will read the cards and I will give you a straight up answer, yes or no. Okay. So let's jump right into it. So if you pick deck number 1, you got the card Strength. Okay, and Strength has a lot to do with the sign of Leo. Okay, so some of you may be dealing with a Leo, but whatever your question is, it's definitely a yes. Okay, it's definitely a yes. And the when we're talking about strength, we're talking about the ability to tame certain inner feelings that we may have, because the woman here, and you don't have to be a woman, you could also be a man too, is taming the lion. Okay, so there is a lion or something that needs to be tamed in your life, but this is definitely a yes card. And Leo focuses more on like the summertime, right? So August and July. So maybe something that you're inquiring about has something to do where the fruition of your question will take place possibly in the summertime. Okay. Now for your theme card, this is your theme card. Your theme card is the scales, okay? And it's kind of ironic that you got the scales, because the scales represent the sign of Libra. It represents partnerships and business associations, okay? So some of you may be inquiring about a business venture that you're going to be going on, or maybe a new job, or perhaps a relationship. If it's none of those, what this card is saying, whether it's one of those things I've mentioned or not, it's calling for you to balance out your personal situation. So whatever your personal situation is, it's asking you to balance. It's also asking you to be aware of the full moon. Because what the full moon does in Libra is it's going to culminate something that's been on your mind for a very, very long time. And you may need to have the strength to wait it out until the full moon, until you get some news around the full moon. And it doesn't have to be right at the full moon. It could be, after Mercury retrograde, right? Because sometimes with full moons, even though the full moon happens, we don't hear news until after the full moon. Sometimes if you're lucky, you may hear news 2 days before the full moon, but really, because it's Mercury retrograde, things are kind of at a slow pace right now. But this is definitely signaling to me balance in whatever you're doing, okay? So, if you're working a lot, balance yourself. If you're focusing your energy on one thing, balance yourself. It's always important to balance yourself. And Libra is a fellow air sign, like the sign of Gemini. So Gemini is going to be affected by this full moon more than any other signs, okay? The air signs are going to be affected by this full moon the most, okay? So this is definitely a yes, Gemini. And yeah, this is a very good sign, okay? So we're going to move on to your money card. So I got a deck of money cards. So if your question was about money, then this is probably the card for you. And even if it's not, it's a good card because it has a message on the back, which I'm going to read. Okay, so you got number 45, which is 9, which is the number of expansion. And expansion is ruled by your 7th house, which is Sagittarius. In Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Okay, and it says, it is not my role to make other people happy. Okay, and it says that there's a message on the back here. So it is not my role to make other people happy. That's your message. And it says, it is not your role to make others happy. It is your role to keep yourself in balance. Wow, Gemini. And this is why you have the scales. Okay, you have the scales here because it's asking you to balance. Scales. Okay, and here it says balance. Okay. Do you see it says balance? So something needs to be balanced, Gemini. Okay, that's what it's saying here. Because it's ironic that you got the scales and then they're talking about balance, okay? So it says, it is your role to keep yourself balanced. When you pay attention to how you feel and practice self-empowering thoughts that align with who you really are, you will offer an example of thriving that will be of tremendous value to those who have the benefit of observing you. You cannot get poor enough to help poor people thrive or get sick enough to help sick people get well. So this is telling me that it's important that you take care of yourself first, Gemini. You can only uplift your position of strength and clarity and alignment. Okay, so this is really focusing on balance. This is, you know, the whole entire message. It's a yes, but also at the same time, you need to balance yourself. Okay. All right, it's a beautiful message. Now, for those of you who chose deck number 2, you got 8 of Swords. And 8 of Swords, it's funny because it is the card of Gemini, and I did pull it up here, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, the 8 of Swords, okay, the 8 of Swords is a card showing the presence of obstructions and difficult obstacles. It shows a fear of failure as well as sheer bad luck. The frustration and constraints overriding the tone of this card points towards an answer of no to the question you are asking. Okay, so some of you are asking a question and the card is saying no. And I think the reason why is because a lot of you aren't seeing the situation for what it is, okay? It's like you're almost stuck somewhere, you're blindfolded, you're not seeing something for what it is. And you may think right now, and it's funny because Mercury retrograde does that, okay? It kind of blindsides you because now you might think, oh, things are great, things are going really well, and then, you know, they shift. So instead of looking at this card as a negative, I would look at it as, okay, maybe I am wearing a blindfold and maybe I need to take it off and maybe I need to be honest with myself. Okay, I know some of you guys don't want to hear that, but this is what the cards are saying, okay? You have a choice to make, okay? You have a choice to make in regards to this decision, and the choice is very clear. The choice is no, but some of you may still be hesitant on in regards to this question. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? About this question that you're asking about. Okay, so for your money card, you got 32, which is 5, which is the sign of Leo again. Some of you are dealing with Leo. Some of you have Leo in your chart. Some of you might be rising Leos. Yeah, so and 5 talks about entertainment as well too. So some of you may need time to just kind of do your own thing and have fun. Some of you guys are working too much maybe. Okay, my attention is to it. Invite the essence of it, okay? And it says anything you are giving your attention to is an invitation to the essence of it. Saying I want money, but it will not come is the same as saying come to me absence of money, which I do not want. When you are thinking of money in the way that will make it come to you, you always feel good. When you are thinking of money in the way that keeps it from coming to you, you always feel bad. That is how you know the difference. So a lot of you, you know, to me, especially during Mercury retrograde, the ability to think during this time is very difficult. Being clear and being concise in what you want and how you think is very difficult, especially for Gemini. And I wouldn't feel hard on myself if I was a Gemini. You know, you have to give yourself the ability to really think and review in this time. Pushing forward during this time, Gemini, is not good for you. And the reason why I say that is because as a Gemini, your ruling planet is Mercury. So Some of you may have liked the answers you got. Some of you may have not liked the answers that you got, but really think about the answers that you received, because these messages are something that are personal for you. Okay, so this is Monica Love. Thanks for tuning in. This was a quick, brief reading, and I hope you guys liked it. Comment, like, share. I'm going to be doing the April forecast for each sign. So if that's something that you're interested in, knowing what your April month is going to be all about, feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the notification button so that you can receive your April forecasts on time. And just remember, the more you like and subscribe, it helps me to create your reading faster, okay? Thanks, Gemini, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.